Hello, welcome to Seagulls Social, not season anything actually. It's literally just a preview, followed up with some news, boys. But how are we? It feels like a long time since I've been on the pod, I'm not going to lie to you. How are we? How are we feeling?
Yeah, it would have been a week, wouldn't it? Like when we recorded the Liverpool preview.
Yeah, and then I wasn't on the one before that as well, so it feels unusual.
We did give big ups to Chloe's birthday though, so hopefully she saw that.
Yeah, you missed that.
Yeah.
We gave a birthday shout out to Chloe.
Yeah, that's made a cake.
I made a cake. Yeah. It's been good. It's been good. Results been going our way. It's been amazing. Been loving life.
Yeah, echo that. We're absolutely flying. Well, obviously, right off air, we were talking about the FA Cup because as of recording, Liverpool play Wolves tonight. I'm just saying, either team we get, we'll just breeze past them with absolute ease.
I think, honestly, and I'm not just saying this, I have confidence over pretty much anyone. I will say it as well. Like, I think that the only the teams that I'm probably most worried about is obviously Manchester United at their place in Old Trafford, and Newcastle at their place at St Mary's. St James's, because I don't know, something about them. They're flying, and when they seem to be at home, they seem to have their fans behind them at the moment. And even Old Trafford's pretty Manchester derby. They're quite loud. I can't lie. So them, I was pretty impressed with. And other than that, I go into most of these games now with this mentality that De Zerbi's introduced to us. I mean, you saw against Liverpool as a prime example. We don't get worried about anyone. And I don't think we should. So I think that regardless of who wins tonight, I expect us, and I want us, and I think we will win against Wolves or Liverpool again.
It's funny, when people are listening to this, they will know who we've got by the time they're listening to this.
Yeah.
So I think I'd probably rather have Liverpool at home again. I think that Wolves could probably cause us more problems than Liverpool could. I don't know about you, Maz.
Yeah, I feel like Wolves are picking up a little bit. Not massively, but that win on the weekend, that 1-0 win for them, probably done them wonders in terms of confidence and just getting them back up again, getting a win. Obviously, new managers come in. So Wolves, I think Wolves potentially, hopefully for the Wolves fans, are more of an upward trajectory now. Whereas Liverpool seemed, I don't know, you don't really see signs of life. Obviously with the way we beat them quite comprehensively, they're not really showing signs of fight or showing signs of progression and getting better. So I don't know. I mean, look, it sounds mad to say that I prefer Liverpool over Wolves, which just sounds mental. But I probably would edge towards Liverpool just the way they're going at the moment. But we'll see tonight, won't we?
Yes.
And obviously we've got Leicester coming up at the weekend in the Premier League. It seems like there's just no stopping in football at the moment. It's just constant bang, bang, bang games left, right and centre. But
yesterday, being Monday, was the first game this year that there wasn't an English football match.
Wow, that's a stat.
Was it 16 days straight, I think.
It's been fucking relentless.
It is relentless. But mate, I've just said to you earlier, I'm just looking forward to every game. We come to Leicester. It used to be a team that you go to the King Power and worry. You'd think 2-0. If we lose 2-0, I'd take that, to be honest.
It's a fortress, wasn't it? King Power.
And how times have changed. I mean, I go there now. I want us to win this game at a minimum, because I don't think Leicester anywhere near their usual standards. They're having a very bad season. How are you boys feeling ahead of Leicester? I'll be there, of course, and I'm sure Ben as well. You said you're going to be there as well.
I'll be there.
I'm looking forward to it. I think I just feel like it's going to be another good day out.
I'm very confident, but I don't know. I feel like it could be a curse going in with confidence anyway. But like you said, they've been very poor. And obviously, we beat them 5-1. Well, at the Amex,
5-2.
5-2. Oh, it's 5-2, wasn't it? Should have been 6-2 because Alexis' sexy goal. But
that's the one.
Yeah, we absolutely spanked them at the Amex, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do it again. By the way we're playing, we are on fire. We're absolutely on flames.
Yeah. I think going into this one, I checked earlier. They haven't beaten anyone at home since Leeds, which I think was like 3 or 4 games ago now.
Yeah.
And we're unbeaten, obviously, in our last 3 games, and I think we scored 13. Was it
what
Everton,
could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. So going into it, stats suggest that we should go into it and win. But we all know that's not as easy as that. Obviously, looking at the Leicester team, James Maddison's a quality player. Tielemans, quality player. They have got quality in the squad. Harvey Barnes. Going forward, they are very good. I think defensively, they're not as strong as they once were. Obviously, with Johnny Evans leaving, was it last season? I think they've really missed him. I think he used to be a really key player for them. Like, he was one of those players which massively underrated. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Schmeichel and Evans for me. Losing them two were key for them because they had that solid foundation, especially with Schmeichel in goal, who was there for X amount of years, 6-7 years probably. Yeah, and losing them two was huge for them. So I think they just haven't quite recovered defensively since then. Oh, and what's his name, Vestergaard as well, and Vestergaard, who left for Southampton, I think. They just haven't replaced those players that have gone out, and I think they're really struggling now. And also Brendan Rodgers, I think, is under a bit of pressure. So see how that pans out for him. I think if he gets a loss against Brighton, then we'll see what happens.
As well, I just think that, I thought that it was quite obvious for Leicester. I know a lot of Leicester fans, and I thought that obviously Vardy was always going to age. Their whole team was always going to age, and they'd become a little bit of a one-trick pony. It was Vardy that was pretty much carrying them through when they had their best times. James Maddison, don't get me wrong, on his day is fantastic, and I'm not taking anything away from him. But them two were linked up so well for such a long period of time that they just thought we're all okay. And then before you know it, bang, you actually can't do that anymore. And that's almost like they've just hit them. And as you say, you mentioned Evans and rightfully so with Schmeichel as well. They've just lost that core, and now you've almost got a Leicester that's completely on the decline. And as I say, Brighton are completely on the other side of that. You saw against Everton as a prime example of this, actually. Two clubs in completely contrasting situations. Everton, complete disarray. Their fans are toxic. They hate everything about the club at the moment.
Fans giving their owner, putting her in a headlock. Did you hear about that?
Is that true?
And also confronting
that was
Yeremini as well. They confronted Yeremini out in public.
Yeah, mate, that was crazy. Those videos, they're literally like, show some passion, lad. But that's Yerry held himself well, though, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's the difference between a well-run club and a complete shambles, right? And it's very like Brighton. We've always been a well-run club, right? But it's very much like us to then go against a team like Everton and lose 2-0, because that just seems to be the old Brighton. But it just doesn't seem like that anymore. And maybe last season we're coming up against this Leicester team and I'll be thinking, I might be careful what I say here because, you never know. But it just seems like with De Zerbi, as we've said so many times onwards, he's now got 24 goals since he took over. It's the second most in the league. And I don't see that he's going to be scared of going to Leicester when they're in bad form. I think he's going to go here and he's going to say, they're here for the taking and I expect everything out of you boys. And I expect us equally to go out and do that. And actually, I want to just talk about, obviously, Solly March and everything going into
Someone watching Seagulls Social in the background.
Sorry, that was our missus.
I didn't wonder what that was. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, that was our missus. Sorry about
that. Funny. That completely boggled me, to be honest. I didn't even know what I was going to say. But I think I was talking about Solly March. Goals galore. Solly March. He's now got 2 goals and an assist in the last game. I think he's got something like 5 assists, 4 goals in all competitions. Can he keep it up against Leicester? I'll start with you, Maz.
Yeah, I mean, he's been incredible. I think, was it last game, 2 goals, an assist as well. So it's just, and I think we mentioned it in the few past couple of pods, he's just like, his output now has just been heightened now with De Zerbi coming in. And it's just great to see him on this kind of form. Can he continue it? That's a big question. I suppose, why not? Like, why? Why can't he continue it? With that front 3, 100%. Matoma, March and Ferguson, I think they work really, really well. And obviously having Danny Welbeck back now as well as an option. Yeah, going forward, Solly March has got everything around him to be successful. He's got the 3 midfielders behind him. He's got the 2 players next to him. And it's just like he can't fail at the moment. But going into it, I am confident that he'll carry on his good form and hopefully get another goal or assist.
Yeah, massive shout out for Ferguson, sorry, because you're saying players around him. I don't think any of us expected this new number 9, this youngster, to actually have assists in his locker as well. Like the assist for Solly March was insane. And so the fact that we've got a number 9 and not only can hit the target and score goals, like he can actually set up the wingers as well, which is another unbelievable thing for our team.
And I was going to pose you a question, Ben, actually. I said Bez, between the two of you. But no, I was going to say to you, Ben, I was going to say the running in the team is pretty much what Trossard's been left out for. At least that's what De Zerbi claims. And he didn't run enough, long put short. In a team like, in a system like De Zerbi's, you have to run. And you saw it against Liverpool as a prime example. Everyone's running, trying their best for the team. Solly March is that. right? And Solly March is that, and he's everything that you need on that wing when he's on it and got this confidence. And he even come out after the game and said that he's given him so much more confidence and he's enjoying life under De Zerbi. And my question to you, Ben, is all of this running around, all of this from Brighton, but what do you think is that key thing against Leicester that's going to be the thing to pick out? Because obviously it's easy to say Solly, it's easy to say Matoma, but I'm trying to get an obscure answer out of you here.
That's a good point, to be fair. So I think maybe their midfield is fairly strong. I mean, Yuri Tillemans, obviously. But I still just think we've got the better of him in that department. Maybe pace. Pace might be the factor with us going forward. You know, Matoma's absolutely rapid. I think they've been playing Castang at right back more recently. Who is decent wing back, to be fair. But I'm sure Matoma will still get the better of him. I imagine it's just, I think our wingers will get the better of the fullbacks and just continue scoring goals and assisting from there.
Yeah, and what are about you, Maz?
Yeah, I think looking at their last lineup, Amati and Feis, I think his name is, and obviously he scored those he scored those two own goals not too long ago. Yeah, I think he's touted to be he's touted to be like a very good player in the future, but I think at the moment he's quite shaky. Amati, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure he's a midfielder by nature.
Yeah.
So if they are to play that makeshift centre back, well, Amati and Feis as centre halves with Castagna and Thomas at left back, I do worry for that back line because if you've got a DM or centre midfielder playing in centre back, it's not naturally similar to Shaw at Man United, or even though he's played well, it's not his natural position, and so they are going to naturally struggle. So I think it's that defence definitely, like Ben said, the full backs and more so the centre backs. I think if Evan Ferguson can get into make himself a nuisance and get Danny Welbeck off the bench and do the same, I think they will capitulate, hopefully.
Yeah. I was going to say, actually, just to be slightly obscure, perhaps, I don't think it is that obscure, to be honest with you, but Pervis Estupiñán, I think he's absolutely fantastic at the moment. He's playing some of the best football that I've seen a left-back play for Brighton. He really is very, 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 very good.
Better than Cucurella, do you think, yet?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Really?
And I do, but I think it's because of Potter's system to De Zerbi's system. I think that the way that De Zerbi plays with his fullbacks is different to Potter. It is similar to how he does with his centre-halves. I think that he said it to me, actually, in the last article last week. He said that now everyone defends as an 11 and we don't defend and attack as individuals. We're an 11 and we play as an 11. So I think that it's almost the forgetting the narrative of positions as such. It's more about now playing. If you're good enough, your quality, you can fill any gap in the pitch. And you can see that with Estupiñán, to be honest with you. I think that the way he links up with Matoma, the way he links up with Caicedo and McAllister, it's also fluid. Everyone can be anywhere on the pitch. You've seen that so many times. You've seen Caicedo, who at some points against Liverpool was the deepest back, at some points most advanced. Lallana was borderline playing up front at times. Ferguson was dropping deep on the wing, putting crosses in. Everyone's everywhere. And I think that's great. And I saw a heat map, actually, of Lewis Dunk on his passes in comparison to Lewis Dunk at the beginning of the season, in the first game, I believe, under Potter, and the most recent game under De Zerbi against, obviously, Liverpool. And here it is here. There you go, opening home game of the season. So this is Dunk's pass map here. This is against the first game of the season. All the reds are the misplaced passes, and all the blues are the good passes that succeeded. That's 35 out of 46 successful, and the majority of them sort of in and around his own areas, a couple of diagonals which have gone wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Now, look at this from De Zerbi. This is the most recent game. That is insane. That's 84 out of 90 passes successful. So he's only misplaced 6
to send me them.
And not to mention, some of the passes are just breaking the lines every single time, intelligent passes, and he's almost playing like a midfielder. And to be able to say that for the player that perhaps Dunk we thought was, maybe past the Dunk of 2021 or whatever. Yeah. But that's insane. It really is.
With Dunk, though, I don't know about you boys, but I always knew his range of passing is outrageous. Like,
of course, yeah.
When he's got the ball at his feet, he's passing. I remember that pass against, was it not last season, the season before, against Watford? Oh, it might be last season, actually. The first game,
a few years ago.
A couple of years ago now. Yeah, that through ball he did with his outside of his boot. I think it was the first game of the season. Yeah, there you go. And it was just like that. for a centre back to be able to do those kind of passes is outrageous. So I think always his main asset has been his passing. I think maybe just under Potter he didn't get to utilise it or didn't get to show it as much.
It's been unleashed
maybe
to another level now. So
and I feel like probably De Zerbi's now actually said, look, I recognise your biggest strength is your passing. Let's utilise it. Let's let's get it going. And then final thing for me, just before we go on to transfers and score predictions. I just want to say, I feel like the team spirit at the moment, like the team camaraderie we've got is just on a different level. Because I know we've got our little quartets as well, of like, obviously the Ecuadorian lads, like, was it 3 or 4, well, including Kiso as well. I know he's Paraguayan, but they have like, they have a little quartet.
Grown.
Yeah, and then obviously you have like your other little cliques, but then as a team, it just seems like, because what made me think of that was, when Trossard, obviously the whole Trossard thing was kicking off ahead of the Liverpool game, I was like, is this going to disrupt us? Are we going to be affected by this? How's that going to be, psychologically? But it just seems like we played our game literally from start to finish, dominated, and it just seemed like the celebration, exactly. So it just feels like the team spirit is there, no matter what happens. A few little bad eggs in, let's say, Trossard. I'm not saying he is, but if he's disrupting the camp, it doesn't seem to affect the people at the moment. So yeah, it's just really good to see, and I hope it continues. Really,
they all back De Zerbi, don't they? They all back the gaffer clearly.
Yeah,
and it's paying off.
And you saw De Zerbi actually mention the Mudryk signing. He actually said that Mitoma was a very similar to Mudryk player, but he also said that Mudryk was a potential to win the Ballon d'Or, but also that to get the best out of him, you need to put an arm around him because he's an emotional character, and to be able to get the best out of Mudryk, you almost need to be, paternalistic towards him. And to hear that in public, anyway, I just think
paternalistic. That's funny.
No, paternalistic, sorry.
Right.
To be able to hear
paternalistic.
No, paternalistic. So to be able to hear that was, I don't know, he almost just treats everyone in their own perspective way. I think that's great. Considering that, Potter was meant to be this guy with emotional intelligence, it seems like the way we are now is almost like a much more of a buzz. I mean, even around the training ground, you see everyone buzzing and shouting and screaming. And I'm just like, I don't remember this before. It's just mad. But anyway, we'll move on to transfers, because actually I saw something today, speaking of actually De Zerbi's similar sort of outgoingness, should we say. I don't know whether he's actually physically said it to the media or if it's just a little thing that's come out, but Charlie Parker-Turner put on saying, I don't know if you guys saw, I don't want to try and say his name. I think it's Tsiangankov, I'm really bad at saying names, has signed for Girona anyway. But he said, minor disappointment for Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi, who had spoken internally about signing Victor, I'm going to call him, this month. Talks were held, but no bids were submitted. Girona acted quickly to pick up the deal late last week. Mad, I think, that he's sort of coming out to say these things. I mean, he's quite clearly said as well that he wants to go after some players. He said that he's made it clear to Bloom and David Weir, I think he said.
Please.
My question is to you guys is, where do we need improvement on the pitch at the moment? And I'll start with you, Ben, because you're looking at me.
It's so hard to say, innit? Because it's harsh to say when everyone's playing so well. I still think we could do with another backup keeper. I know Steele's obviously signed a new contract, but I think he's also there for the vibes and golf and being back up in the cup and that sort of thing. I know Ferguson's breaking through, but to just put so much faith in him to be our number 9 for the future would be risky. So maybe, again, this might sound stupid, but still want a number 9. That would be brilliant, I think. That's probably, I think it's maybe another right back, potentially. I know Veltman does a really good job, so does Lamptey, but there's going to be a time when, I'm going to list another position off this as well. It's going to be a time where Veltman gets on a bit, and probably at the top of my list, actually, with the Cole situation, of him probably not signing, that would be the number 1 thing we need to get. But I don't think we need that in Jan. We'd probably need that in the summer.
Yeah. And what about you, Maz?
I'd actually go a bit different. Well, it's similar.
I think I literally went around the whole pitch. Every single
yeah. There was one position where I was like, are you going to say the position I'm thinking of? Do you know what? This is a weird one. And obviously we've got huge strength in depth. But I think another centre midfielder, because, for example, when we saw Caicedo suspended, we were not the same team. Like against Arsenal, we were just not the same team. We really missed him. Obviously, we didn't have Mac as well. He was away in World Cup, just coming back from World Cup duty. And yeah, Caicedo was suspended. And I think against Liverpool, obviously I know Gilmour wasn't. I actually thought he was not that bad, but yeah, I just want that a bit more strength and depth in that midfield potentially, just in case, and especially if there's an outgoing. If Caicedo does leave or McAllister does leave, then we definitely need. We'll 100% need a centre midfielder.
Yeah,
but even if they stay, even if they stay, I think one more centre midfielder maybe, and then I agree with you, Ben, as well. Get another centre back, because even with Colwill, Webster, and Dunk, we still need I don't know Van Heck's technically that fourth one, but it doesn't seem like De Zerbi, rates him as highly as maybe, he does the other three. So yeah, do we get another centre back in, who he's sort of ready to step in if need be?
I'd agree with you on the centre midfield thing. I think we've seen with Ilic, we had a bid rejected the 15 million for him, didn't we, this week? Which is interesting.
Is that the Verona guy?
Yeah, not Verona. Is it Verona? It might be Verona, actually. You might be right. Yeah, definitely an Italian team. But 21 years old, centre midfielder, clearly going after someone. So I think the Enoch Mwepu replacement, as sad as it is, needs to happen. And obviously our thoughts are obviously with Enoch, if you guys didn't mention that in the previous video.
Yeah.
So I'll just say it for myself anyway. My thoughts are with Enoch Mwepu at the moment is very horrible. So obviously we do need to replace him in that horrible way. Finding another midfielder to fill that gap, I suppose. And you're right in saying that. Obviously in that game against Arsenal, it was clear to see when Moises Caicedo and Alexis were both out. Equally though, I think that a left-sided centre back, people think that it's not important, but I think it is. I think the Van Heck thing, I would keep him on the right side, and I think that's why he's not getting in. I think because Dunk and Webster are probably the favoured options, and I think that, yes, Webster can play left side, but he's so injury prone. I definitely say we need another left-sided centre-back. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the squad, to be honest. I wouldn't really require too much more. So there's not really too much else to say on transfers perspective. That's about it from that, but score predictions on Leicester, boys. What are we saying? Start with you, Maz.
I'm going to go with... I'm going to be more conservative. I'm going to go 1-0. It's going to be a tight one. I think, it's going to be tight. I think Leicester will put their all into it. They need to get a result. They've been a bit of a terrible run at the moment, and obviously I think Brendan Rodgers will be massively under pressure if he does lose again. But I think, the form that we're in, the goals that we're scoring, I'm going to go with a very, very conservative 1-0. But I think it could maybe be 2-3.
Okay. And Ben?
Yeah. All right. So they haven't. Yeah. I'm gonna say 3-1 Brighton.
3-1.
I was gonna say.
I don't think they'll score. I don't think they'll score.
I was just looking. So in the last game against Forest, they didn't score. In the last game in the Cup, they didn't score against Newcastle. They scored against Gillingham, but who wouldn't? They didn't score against Fulham.
Score out of interest. I can't remember that.
They lost 2-0 in the Cup.
2-0. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
They lost to Fulham, like I said. They scored against Liverpool away when they lost 2-1. And then before that, they lost 3-0 at home to Newcastle. They haven't really been scoring goals at home.
Unless 3-0 all over. 3-0 all over.
I'm going to change it to 3-0. Let's have some confidence.
Yeah.
Back to back 3-0s.
Should do one better. We'll go 4-0. Let's break it. 4-1. 4-0. We beat Everton 4-1. We beat Middlesbrough 5-1. We've beaten Chelsea 4-1. So why not? Why can't we score 4 against the Leicester side? We scored. I think 10 on Merseyside now, and shortly, isn't it?
We've scored the most goals in the Premier League since the restart.
10. Yeah,
with 4,
exactly.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like that.
Yeah,
I think only Newcastle and Arsenal are above. I think they've got 25. We've got 24. But either way, we're going to break that.
I know, since the restart.
Has it changed?
Since the restart, since the restart.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to it. I reckon 4-0. We're gonna. I'll say 4-0. I don't know if it actually will be. Maybe 4-1. Because I think if we're going that high, maybe we'll concede one because we're pushing. But the way we play football at the moment, it's a joy. It's a complete joy. It's an education to watch. So I think that I'm gonna go 4. Yeah, perfection.
Love that.
All right. That's it, isn't it, really, boys? I don't know if there's anything else to say.
That's probably the most confident.
And 2-0 Leicester.
Yeah.
Harvey Barnes double.
I'm worried about that. Shit.
No, we'll be all right. We're good. We're a good team now. We need to talk like we're a good team, because we are. We've got a World Cup winner in our team. We've got winners all over the pitch, to be honest with you. We've got dominant midfield, dominant centre-backs, we've got dominant attackers. All our team we value as over 50 million players, don't we? So why shouldn't we say that we should go and win 4-0?
True. And Solly March isn't worth anything because he's priceless.
There you go. Look at that. And actually, just to mention, on out going to Caicedo, actually, forgot about him. Just to say, just because he's linked with your big team doesn't mean that he's for sale. So we don't have any God-given right to roll over and give you Caicedo just because a big six club wants him. Yeah, maybe in the summer. If you want him now, 100 mil. Literally, 100 mil. If you want him now, right now, I want 100 million at least being seen on the table. And I'm sure that Bloom will reiterate that. I think the 75 mil thing's rubbish. I can't see we let him go for 15 million more than we let Cucurella go for.
Also, as well, I want to dispel this myth of him being on $3.5 grand. You think he's going to be on $3.5 grand? Like,
he would have had a little
big
boost.
Six club.
He's not going to be on like the 40s and stuff like that.
No. He's not going to be on crazy money. But I mean, $3.5 grand, like for
mid-teens.
Yeah, he'll
new contract,
15,
90
20
million release clause. Let him go next in the summer.
Bash.
Yeah, sorted.
Bash.
Yeah. Europe as well. All right, boys. Thank you. That was a very good podcast, sort of.
Good.
Nice.
Right. Make sure. Oh yeah.
Go on. Do the outro.
Okay, oh my god! Yeah, we didn't do an outro.
Yeah. Go on, Ryan.
That was so dumb. This is how long it's been. Thank you all for watching, I guess. Thank you for listening to us for the last half an hour. This is different because we haven't done it in a long time. So make sure you keep streaming on everything and everything like that. Follow our socials at Seagulls Social, of course. And we'll see you after Leicester.
Peace.